Michael, thank you for joining me today. Now, I know, Michael, that you always have good things to say, and that's why I enjoy talking and chatting to you. So, Michael, what I really want to know is, tell me about one of your hobbies.
Well, when it comes to hobbies, it's interesting you asked that question because I actually made a statement on one of my podcasts that I'm not really into podcasting as a hobby because
Right.
a lot of people want a hobby like stamp collecting, coin collecting, and whatnot. And of course, there's a legal term for hobby. It's something that you do, like maybe raise a few animals, raise some food, uh, vegetables, fruits, or whatever. And if it fails, you could mark it off on your taxes as a hobby. So I guess somehow there's some kind of a tax thing to where you'll get some sort of a tax credit for a hobby. But my hobby, something that I spend a lot of time with, that's it's partially from the heart, and another thing, it's partially a passion. But it's been podcasting. It's been radio and podcasting, 5 years of radio from 1989 to 1994. And then it wasn't until about 2011 that I started wanting to catch up with what is a blog, what is a podcast. And then came vlogs where you could combine a video and a blog. And now everything can be combined. So that's fascinating. It has a lot of ups and downs and challenges. And it does take dedication, though. But I would say podcasting is a great hobby. And it's most difficult when you have a common 9 to 5 job, whatever it might be, or a career, and also trying to do a blog. So
Yeah.
the best way that the blue collar or the executive level person can do a blog and work is if their blog is related to their work. So that's where I clash. I like to keep an eye on the media, um, things going on in legislation, society, and how to relate it to biblical. So none of that has anything to do with any job I've ever had. Now I'm into retail. I could make a blog criticizing my company until they fire me, but but I won't do that. I like my company, actually, the company
Good.
I work for.
So let's get this clear first of all. A podcast is where it's like a spoken word, isn't it? You know, and you might pick up a theme. Is that what you do? And you play
Yes.
music? Yeah.
Yep. The podcast is all audio, and you can paint a picture with your words if you like, or just do sort of uh, just reporting on what's on your mind or what's going on in society, but it's all audio, and you can have music behind it.
Yeah. So why do you think people actually subscribe to your podcast?
Right now, I believe it is mostly because of the independent music artists that I've been featuring for the past about 3 to 4 years. I've been featuring a lot of um, local and international independent singers, songwriters, composers, and such as that, and
Okay.
promoting their music and giving them congratulations for their multiple awards that they've been taking part of.
Right. So, Michael, now this must take quite a lot of your time up. I mean, what do you enjoy about it? Because let's face it, it's a big commitment, isn't it? Especially when you're working and you've got other things to do.
I enjoy it. A lot of people say that it's a good mental release to do something that you enjoy as a side or for a hobby. Um, I enjoy music, and at the same time, I enjoy being able to say things how I want to, and to report things as I wish and as I want to. A lot of something that a lot of people don't realize is, as a podcaster, you could say what you want, how you want it, anytime you want. As a radio station disc jockey, talk show hosts are real popular. They have 3-hour time slots, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour time slots, but they still have to obey by the federal communications rules. Well, now, not only that, radio stations have their rules. So if you want to say lampoon somebody who is promoting climate change to a ridiculous level where it's not even scientific, you could say climate change, but if you say it like you're a little fifth grader or something, climate change, you can't do that. You can't sound sarcastic when you say something. So you got all these stupid little rules. As a podcaster, you could do it any way you want, and I love that.
Yeah. And do you find that people like your honesty when you do that on your podcast?
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. In the past couple of years, private cable news channels have been developed for podcasters.
Okay.
So there's a couple of networks where it's nothing but podcasters, and they literally are allowed to say what they want, how they want, with the exception of no cursive language.
Right. And do you see the Lord at work in your podcast, Michael? How?
Oh, I do a lot. People will message me and ask me if I could pray for certain subjects that they're going through.
Wow.
And I can offer prayers on over the air. And the great thing about podcasting, it's in the same realm as radio and TV waves. You're going through the principalities and the powers of the air, and we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers of the air. And a lot of people don't realize that angels are battling in the heavens, and the angelic world is just as tangible as the physical world. What we could see objects, we could see each other in colors. Well, the so-called unseen world, which is spirits and angels, that's just as tangible and just as real. But when you're doing something for the Lord, you're battling, literally.
Yes.
So I find that fascinating.
Yeah. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity. Now, there could be some people who feel quite desperate or needing much prayer. So that's a tremendous opportunity, would you say, for people to get things off their chest that are worrying them or needing prayer for?
Yes, I've actually made a pretty good base of friends who are secular independent artists or writers or singers, and I narrowed down people who I feature on my podcast to those who actually do have a spiritual, uh, biblically spiritual outlook in life. They write about God. They write about Jesus. They offer their own prayers for other people. They're not ashamed. They're
Wonderful.
living a secular life, but they're not ashamed to say that they love the Lord or they're praying. And prayer is a big thing. It's being scoffed. Every time a tragedy happens, a politician will say, I offer my prayers for the families, and then they get scoffed online. That's the downside of the age of internet. Everybody can collaborate with each other or talk with each other at once.
Yeah.
And one side likes to scoff and the other side likes to promote
So
Jesus.
have you found answers to prayer? Have people come back and said to you, well, that prayer was answered, that you know of?
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that they're answered, because one day people are crying and griping and asking for prayers, and then people respond and say, I'm praying, and then the next moment they're all happy. But so online, people aren't really good with coming back with an update on a praise report, but I could tell that they're okay, and eventually they'll say everything worked out.
Brilliant.
Or you could just ask them, hey, how did it work out with that surgery on your thumb? Oh, it went great.
Yeah, so that's
Or whatever.
encouraging, very encouraging.
Yes.
So do you have particular topics each week that you like to discuss?
I'm working on one right now, and I'm not sure if I could. I'm not sure if I could pull it up real quick. I might be able to.
Okay.
I came up with a title yesterday for my next podcast that I have everything queued up, and I'm going
Right.
to work on that today after our interview. And
Well, that sounds really interesting. You've obviously got some good thoughts in your mind there, Michael, for a podcast to share with us.
yeah, I'm trying to find out where I wrote the title of my next show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wrote it down. Let's see, maybe it's on this page.
Okay.
Got something to do with cunning. I need to find a scripture where God is it's the rebuilding of the wall
Yeah.
after the decades of captivity.
Yeah.
God is going to have people cunning in silver and cunning in gold and cunning in carving and cunning meaning brilliant
Yeah.
at whatever something that they do.
So there's
So
actually a lot of work behind the scenes for you, isn't there, as well? Prep.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Michael, I know that you enjoy playing music on your podcast and you have all sorts of lovely music for the listeners. But how do you think music plays a part in this? Do you think people hear God in music? What's your thoughts?
I think you do hear wisdom in music. You could be singing praises to Jesus, praises to the Lord, praise and worship, and you could be in the glory and ecstasy. So when you're singing to the Lord or of God's goodness, uh, you may hear God's voice, and you may even see an angel. But when it comes to secular music, you can hear a lot of wisdom in music.
Yeah. And I think very often God can use music, can't he, to talk to us? Do you think?
And comfort us as well. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh, uh,
definitely.
Listening to good Christian contemporary music, it could comfort you, it could enlighten you, and you may even have a vision, open eye or a closed eye vision. But mostly it comforts you and gives you wisdom for whatever it is you're facing, or it gives you determination. Or music can also give you a sense of holding on. Just hold on, whatever it is, the vision that the Lord gave you, write it down, and it'll surely come to pass. So we need patience, but just hold on. You're going up the rough side of the mountain, and here we are with the blues.
Mm.
So the blues to me are comforting because
Yes.
somebody is making music out of it,
Yes, of
and it shows
course.
that you're not alone.
Very true. So, Michael, to finish with, do you think a podcast can actually keep us spiritually fit?
Um,
Can it encourage us?
producing a podcast, it'll aid in keeping you spiritually fit, because the thoughts that come to your mind, you have to research.
Yes.
Before, you used to have to go to a library, look at an encyclopedia or some microfiche or newspapers, magazines. You could still do that. Now you just get a thought and you can web search it. So it'll aid in being spiritual fit, but nothing beats reading a paper Bible.
No.
And getting away from the TV screen. Read the paper Bible and just absorb God's word and actual prayer, not scrolling through things. Okay, I pray for that. I pray for that. I pray for that. I pray for
Yes.
that. It's monotonous.
Of course.
To do that online.
Of course.
But you could write things down and lie down on your back with your pillows up and start reading your notes and pray about them in real, without the aid of a telephone or a computer.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the Bible.
No, I agree. Totally agree. There's some good thoughts there, Michael. Michael, can I say thank you? Because this is a hobby that requires much commitment, much work, but it does sound very enjoyable. And I can really see that you have this passion of doing this podcast. So the Lord bless you in that ministry. It's a ministry that you have there for sure. Are they every week, your podcast, or once a month, or how often are the podcasts?
I'm averaging about one I'm averaging about one podcast between every week and 2 weeks now. Yeah, my goal is to have one episode per week.
Brilliant. Michael, the Lord bless you in that goal. And thank you for joining me today for Give Me a Break. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.